So today, it's red meat for the carnivores, right? And what do I say when I mean red meat for the carnivores? I mean, man, listen, all right, we're going to talk to some normies, okay? Because, like, it's important that y'all understand that this government and all the things you love and support and thought that were yours hate your fucking guts. It's not just the Democrats. Like, legitimately, it's not just the Democrats. And I'm going to show you that today. I think it's important that y'all understand exactly what's going on. Let's get down to it, all right?
Charge, Senator Hawley.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Ms. Monaco, I want to come back to this extraordinary letter and memorandum that the Attorney General of the United States issued yesterday. Practically every day brings new reports about this administration weaponizing the federal bureaucracy to go after political opponents. Frankly, I don't think we've ever seen anything like it in American history. I mean, for those of us who missed the McCarthy era, I guess this president is intent on bringing it to us, but with new force and new power and new urgency, unlike anything we've ever seen. Are you aware of any time in American history when an attorney general has directed the FBI to begin to intervene in school board meetings, local school board meetings?
I'm not aware, and I'm not aware that is not going on. Let me be.
Let's keep this 100, all right? That's exactly what's going on, okay? Here's what you have to understand. First off, this senator knows exactly what's going on. He's in a know, and you're not. So I'm going to explain to you exactly what's popping off. At the moment, we have what's known as the Cathedral, all right? The Cathedral is an oligarchy, okay? It's an oligarchy that basically includes academia and the media, okay? And academia is basically all the colleges. Basically, we have like 10 colleges that hand out courses to all the rest of the colleges and set the profile for everybody. And these colleges all produce kids, all right, who are your children, who are taught to hate you and hate where they came from. And they're basically applying for a knighthood or a position in the aristocracy or the oligarchy. Now you say, well, I think it's a good thing that my kid would become part of the aristocracy, right? Because I was part of the aristocracy. Well, let me explain something to you, okay? That's not a good thing, okay? In the end of the day, it's not a good thing. You should want to maintain your heritage and your culture. And you go, but why would we want to do that? This is America, it's a melting pot. Everybody should be the same, all right? Because what you have to understand is, and this is very important to understand, that only 30% of the population in 2060 is going to be white. And you go, well, I'll be well dead by then, so what does it matter? Well, your kids aren't going to be, okay? And basically what you're doing, all right? And I understand why you're doing it, okay? I get it. And I'm saying you've been fed a whole lot of garbage your whole goddamn life. Basically what you're doing is you're standing here and you're going, man, listen, like, everybody's the same, everybody's equal, it feels good to say all these things, and, it doesn't really matter whether or not, like, my white daughter's getting piped down by Tyrone. That's not a positive thing for, like, your society as a whole, okay? It's not a positive thing for your family. I get that they've raped you of your culture and your values. They've, stood here and replaced it with all these plastic piece of shit goods. They've given you the opportunity to have 2 cars where you get a line of credit off of your house that you worked your whole life for paying, right? You've stood here and had the opportunity to go buy a camper, and you can go to the campsite and you can grill, right? Because that's what everybody really wants to do, is just grill. But the truth of the matter is, this isn't good for us as a people. This isn't good for us as a nation. It's not good for you as a human being, okay? What is it? 45, 50, 60% of Americans are obese. The children, are so downtrodden at this point because basically the boomers, which I hate the boomers, have sold out their future generations to the point where kids today are reaching and screaming for an opportunity to fucking survive. Everybody wants to know what all this trans shit's about. The truth is, it's that dudes go, it looks like life is easier as a woman, right? Because everybody's nice to you, right? They cut the dicks off. right? And females go, well, motherfuckers respect men. Maybe I'll have a chance to make it. And then they cut their tits off. And then they screw on a dick. Because everybody is looking for an easier way through. Because the boomers have allowed this government to screw the dog shit out of everybody. Because the idea that we should just bring in immigrants to do the wages, do the jobs that you don't do anymore because you're old. The jobs that you did when you were a kid. And you go, wow, those jobs sucked. Well, here's the thing, though. If you don't have normal people doing these jobs, right, the problem comes down to where you drop the wages of those. And it's like a food web, right? It's kind of like you take away like the bottom rung of the food web, and then everything starves on its way up. Same way it works with the economy. You stand here, don't pay lower wage workers. You don't keep up with inflation with them. The next rung up don't keep up with inflation. The next rung up don't keep up with inflation. Next rung up don't keep up with inflation. And everybody's chasing up towards the top. Because nobody can eat the fucking shit in the bottom. That's the problem. All right? We've sold ourselves out. We haven't. I didn't. Right? Because like I'm fighting against it. And I've been fighting against it forever. Right? Like if we didn't have immigration right now, if we weren't letting these fucking Mexicans, by the way, there's 65,000 of them heading towards the border right now, said we're prepared for war if they don't let us in. That's an invasion. Those are invaders. Those aren't refugees, right? Because if they were prepared for war, they should have stayed home and fought their war. That's not it. They want to take their piece of American pie by force. I don't know, son. I don't know. Let's keep rocking. Let's keep rocking. You know what I'm saying? This is important to understand. All this shit's important right now. Let's keep banging.
Quite clear. It's one page, and it asks the U.S. Attorney community and the FBI special agents in charge to convene state and local law enforcement partners to ensure that there's an open line of communication to address threats, to address violence, and that's the appropriate role of the Department of Justice to make sure that we are addressing criminal conduct and violence.
At local school board meetings, let me just ask you this. Is parents waiting sometimes for hours to speak at a local school board meeting to express concerns about critical race theory or the masking of their students, particularly young children? Is that in and of itself, is that harassment and intimidation? Is waiting to express one's view at a school board meeting harassment and intimidation?
As the Attorney General's memorandum made quite clear, spirited debate is welcome, is a hallmark of this country. It's something we all should engage in. And
no, I don't think so, Ms. Monaco. With all due respect, it didn't make it quite clear. It doesn't define those terms, nor does it define harassment or intimidation. It talks about violence. I think we can agree that violence shouldn't be condoned or looked aside from in any way, swept under the rug at all. But harassment and intimidation, what did those terms mean in the context of a local school board meeting? I mean, this seems to, in the First Amendment context, we talk about the chill.
Well, let's keep this 100, right? Let's keep this all the way funky with you. These are children. These are not just children, they're their children, okay? They're my children, they're your children, they're whoever's children, okay? The problem is that, like, you've stood here, all right, and instead of sitting here like keeping an eye on what's going on, everybody's kind of just not paid attention to anything for a while, right? And see, these teachers who go from school to school to school, right? Never worked the honest day's labor in their entire life, okay? They have been indoctrinated they stay indoctrinated. They indoctrinate other people. They're the indoctrinators of the doctrinators, indoctrinated, you know? These, the facilitators of the oligarchy, right, are standing here teaching your children to hate themselves and standing here teaching their children that, you know what I'm saying? Like, yo, everybody should be equal and everything should be fair and everything should be good. And like life is all peaches and cream. And they don't tell you how hard you're taxed. They don't tell you about how hard life is. They don't teach you how to do anything because they, you know, they don't have to fucking do anything. You know, I mean, they don't stand here and do any of the things, you know what I'm saying, that you want them to do. And these teachers, right, you know, expect to be able to have complete free reign over what they do, right? And the administrators the same way because, like, they're a government institution, all right? They're the strongest of the government institutions, believe it or not. You know what I'm saying? Like, the military, them motherfuckers go to jail, right? School people don't go to jail. Legit. Unless you're a dude fucking raping students and shit, like, you don't go to jail in schools, right? There's no accountability for any of this shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, you hold local tax people or little tax citizens, you hold citizens hostage, right, for their tax receipts because you want a raise, right? And this mentality, you know what I mean, has bred a bunch of individuals who feel like they're above the motherfucking law. And so the government wants you and wants your kids indoctrinated into this fucking system. Right? Because, like, it's what's good for the system. It's not what's good for you. It's not what's good for the kids. It's not what's good for the community. It's not what's good for your culture. It's not what's good for your family. It's what's good for the system as a whole. And whether you agree with this or you don't, you have to understand that it's the truth. That's a pain in the ass. Right? See, what's good for the system. And I'm explaining this to you really simply. Right? When you have less racism, when you have less homophobia, when you have less transphobia, when you have everybody getting along, that means everybody can go into a corporate office. That means they don't have to pay as much for wages and labor. That means that, like, they can treat anybody any way they want to because, like, everybody has the same mentality, right? And so, therefore, business is conducted much easier. When you have a culture, when you have a root, this is why, like, segregation had to be ended, right? This is why integration had to happen. Because, like, you couldn't have black businesses taking up black fucking, you know what I mean, money. Because they wanted that in the regular economy. It had nothing to do with racism. Right? Why they want you to accept gays? Yo, it ain't got nothing to do with gays. It has everything to do with them wanting gays' money. Why do they want women treated well? Because they want women's money. If they could double the workforce and bring all these females into the workforce, that means wages go down by half. That means you get the productive part of society for half the price. Motherfuckers don't understand these concepts. Right? They don't care about your family. They don't give a fuck about how your kids is taken care of. Yo, school's compulsory. If you don't put your kids in school, they'll come take them from you. This is why all this shit is bad. This is why I've been bitching about it for years. Because if you don't let them indoctrinate your kids, and I do mean indoctrinate because ain't no education happening. If you don't let them indoctrinate your fucking kids, like, yo, they'll come and take your fucking kids. No hearings. No trial. No jury. No rights afforded to you. No habeas corpus, motherfucker. No jurisprudence. Just come and snatch them up out your home. They'll take your fucking home. They'll charge you with a fine, and if you can't pay it, they'll take your fucking home. This shit is compulsory. If somebody stood there and said, hey, look, I want to take away your family, your freedom, and everything you believe in. And you said, fuck you do, I'll shoot you in the fucking face. You're now a terrorist. That's what this is about. Understand something, like, yo, they're not going to go down. These motherfuckers ain't going to go down quietly. And you're going to keep supporting them because you're fucking retarded. Like, maybe you should get your fucking head screwed on right. Let's keep rocking.
The chill to speech. If this isn't a deliberate attempt to chill parents from showing up at school board meetings for their elected school boards, I don't know what is. I mean, I'm not aware of anything like this in American history. We're talking about the FBI. You're using the FBI to intervene in school board meetings. That's extraordinary.
Senator, I have to respectfully disagree. That is not what...
Point me to an instance.
The The Attorney General's memorandum made quite clear that violence is not appropriate. Spirited public debate on a whole range of issues is absolutely what this country is all about.
Then why is it being investigated by the FBI?
It is not. When and if any situation turns to violence, then that is the appropriate role of law enforcement to address it.
The memorandum covers more than violence. It talks about intimidation. It talks about harassment. So I'm asking you to draw some lines. We do this all the time in the First Amendment context. This is the sum and substance of First Amendment law. So I expect that you'll be available and willing to do it now. Tell me where the line is with parents expressing their concerns, waiting for hours in these school board meetings. We've all seen the videos. This happened in my state. Parents have waited for hours. Sometimes the school board meetings have been ended before they can speak because the school board doesn't want to hear it. And now parents are told that if they wait and they express their views, that they may be investigated for intimidation?
I don't know who's telling them that, Senator. The job of the Justice Department is to investigate.
Yo, they think they're above you. What don't you understand? They think they're above you. All right, that's why it is they end the school board meetings without like you even having an opportunity to say what you want to say. That's why they're like, yo, we don't care. They don't care. They don't give a fuck. They don't give any fucks about you. They don't care about you. They don't care about you. They don't care about you. You think this is your fucking country? Fuck out of here. The boomers sold this bitch down the river long ago. The moment you sold away the working class fucking jobs, the moment you stood here like yo and voted in all these garbage ass politicians to save you, the moment you stood here and thought that it was a good idea, like to fucking let pensions go by the wayside, this stopped being your country. That's the fucking trade-off. The moment you stood here and supported, the moment you supported the drug war, the moment you stood here and supported the motherfucking zero tolerance laws in fucking schools, the moment you stood here and supported fucking no fault divorce, the moment you fucking stood here and supported child support laws, the moment you stood here and supported fucking abortions and shit, this stopped being your country. What don't you understand? They don't care about you. They don't give a fuck about me. They don't give a fuck about anybody. They're going to indoctrinate your fucking kids no matter what you say. And they're going to stand here and smile while they fucking do it. Because they don't give a fuck. And here's the real bitch. They think they right in doing so. Why? Why do they think they right? Because, man, corporatism is more important than your fucking family, your community, your society, your civilization as a whole. Profits are more important. It's that basic, motherfuckers.
Crimes, when a situation turns to violence, when and if a situation turns to violence, it's the job of the Justice Department and local law enforcement to address that. The Attorney General's memorandum simply asked the U.S. Attorney community, the FBI.
Yo, let me keep this 100 with you, all right? It is not the FBI's job to fucking worry about violence in your local community. That's your local cop's job. It's not the FBI's job. The FBI's there because this is a federal fucking mandate to do this shit. Yo, the FBI's there because the FBI is backing up the motherfucking oligarchy that runs this bitch. They are the motherfucking proletariat. They're the Praetorian Guard, nigga. Like, yo, welcome to Rome, baby. Welcome to fucking Rome.
And their counterparts to ensure that state and local law enforcement has an open line of communication to report threats, whether they happen in the context of election officials being threatened, whether they happen in the context of members of Congress being threatened, which the FBI responds to on a regular basis, as is appropriate. The job of the Justice Department is to address criminal conduct.
You know, all I can say is this is truly extraordinary.
Yo, the job of the Justice Department is to get criminal fucking conduct. Like, yo, the fuck out of here. Yo, the fuck out of here with that shit. Yo, with a straight face, it's our job. Yo, these motherfuckers are raping us blind. They're fucking betting on the stock market while they make laws that fucking affect it. Yo, the fuck out of here. Yo, get the fuck out of here. Yo, your fucking president has a son who's linked in 3 different fucking continents, right? Where the fucking dude fucking sat here and made actions. Yo, get the fuck out of here with that fucking bullshit. Yo, I'm done. Y'all know the fucking deal. Like, share, and subscribe, motherfuckers. Peace.